the distinct difference between men and women during chakra unblocking. This was something really amazing that I noticed, that there is a distinct difference in the type of emotions that get released during a chakra unblocking, very different and very common across all men and all women, and meaning that the women have a separate set of very common emotions and women have a separate set of common emotions. And it became so predictable that before I even start, I said, and if it's a woman, I say, you're going to expect this to happen, and when a man must, you can expect that to happen. It's normal. Don't get alarmed about it. So I'm going to discuss that during this video today. For those of you who like the contents of my videos, please also remember to like and subscribe to my channel. This will greatly help my channel to be able to reach out to more people. And one extra option of favor, if you could just drop a comment, share it with just one other person or your favorite social media channel, I will very highly appreciate that. But importantly, I thank each and every one of you for watching, spending your precious time, with me, and a very big thank you for that. For those of you who don't know me, I am Osman, hashtag the blind Muslim yogi, a bioenergy healer on a master level with telepathic healing capabilities, specializing in critical care recovery and terminal illnesses, amongst a host of other physiological, psychological, and even spiritual ailments. An amazing offer, a 10-minute anxiety fix for just $5, less than a price of a Starbucks coffee, delivered to you telepathically, anywhere, instantly, globally, and pay only after you are satisfied. And this goes for all my treatment protocols. For contact information, go to my website, yogawellness786.com. I'm also an advanced level yoga and meditation teacher, having been practicing this art form for almost 50 years and teaching for 44 years. During that time, studied under various masters from different schools of thought, from different cultures across the globe, from the Far East, the Middle East, and the West, including the scientific communities. I basically took the best of all the worlds, put together my own protocols, but adapted them for the 21st century, making them faster, quicker, easier, more time efficient, and results oriented. To that end, I now have students in over 100 countries, and my favorite protocol by far is my 5-minute yoga and meditation program, which you can download for free by visiting my website, yogawellness786.com, and where you can get more information about my services. Also, remember, my therapies are all natural based and not a replacement for medical treatment. So, coming back to the subject matter of the distinct difference, when I was doing so, it's not in every person, but I would say 99% of the time, this is common because some people, they are more or less, together, their minds, they work on themselves and they do, energy practices or mindfulness practices and or breath work practices, and all these helps in balancing the energies, even working out, fitness programs, or being thoughtful, academics and so forth. You can mindfully ensure that you don't have heavy baggage in you, but that is like 1% or less, right? Majority of the people, they have this common baggage, which is distinctly different between men and women. And to this day, I'm very, surprised about it. But it's so much so that now, before I even start the chakra unblocking, if it's a man, I say you're going to expect this, or if it's a woman, I'll say you're going to expect that, right? So what's different? Of course, let's start with the woman, because ladies first always, right? So ladies generally, of course, it's most obvious. They have a lot of emotion and sorrow, like heartache and heartbreak, locked up inside them. And as their heart is, the heart chakra is, unblocking, they sob and cry, and it's like uncontrollably crying, right? We'll say majority, more than 90% woman is uncontrolled, but there is about 10% of them still sob, tears come out, and they control themselves more, but they are crying, and of course I can't see them crying because I'm blind, but I know I can, feel them sobbing and hear them sobbing as well. And I say this is very normal because this is the unblocking process. It's releasing all this pent up baggage, throughout your life. And some women, or men for that matter, who's not having grief, they're having something distinctly different though. Um, they went through a very difficult time in their life and it's buried very deep. And very rare occasions, it takes very long to unblock these people's chakras. And eventually it comes out, everything comes out. And when they're sobbing, and sometimes they even need a hug and so forth. And then I just continue. And some can't handle it. There was one or two women, they just woke up and went away, felt embarrassed that they were crying so much, and they wanted to go to a space where they can cry it out, all alone. And that's why now I always tell them this is normal. Don't run away during the middle of the chakra unblocking. Let me complete it. And it's normal, to have this emotion released. The distinct difference with men, they feel very angry, and they like aggression is like peaked in them, and it's like they want to punch a wall. And this is like quite common. And I tell the men, you're going to experience, aggression. Don't get worried about it. It's going to pass after a few minutes. And even with women, the sorrow is going to pass, you know, after a few minutes. It is so amazing, it's very common, and this is the distinct difference. So, I don't know. I haven't, had experience of the difference between those who identify, as women and were born biologically, a male, or the chromosomes say, they have male chromosomes. It's better to put it that way, but identify as female, and whether it's the same, with these people. But I suppose so because the inbuilt mechanisms, you know, um, are distinctly different. So people who's also identifying, as something alternative to what they biologically, are very often, in my opinion, right? Just giving my opinion, I believe there's something that caused them not to accept their, their biological nature, and the chakra unblocking would remove that and bring them face to face and to terms with something that's hidden, from their conscious mind, and bring it to the fore. And then, of course, I mean, they are free, to choose how they want to identify, and they could identify from choice, not from some suppressed baggage. Sometimes there's some suppression in your subconscious mind, that's going to, make you or force you to identify to something that you might not want to identify if that baggage was not there. And the classic way, whether you want to or don't want to, willing or unwilling, if I'm doing the chakra and blocking, it's coming out. It's like whether you want to or don't want to, if I'm taking a needle and going to inject you with a serum, that needle is going to go into your skin, even if you don't want to, right? I mean, of course, you're not going to, physically resist, of course, right? So if you physically resist, it's the thing. So whether you believe, I think it's better to say whether you believe or don't believe. If I take um, a drug and inject it in you, that drug is going to work, whether believe or don't believe. It's going to work across the board. Different levels, different thresholds before it works, but it's going to work nevertheless. You can't go into an operating theater and the anesthetist is there and you're not falling under, right? That's not gonna You're gonna fall under with the anesthetic. Just that maybe your threshold may be different. So similarly, there is this thing of chakra unblocking, which I believe every person should do, and at least, go and, have this done professionally. So in my case, when I do the chakra unblocking, I continue it until all 114 chakras unblock. You feel revolutionary the person you was before and the person you are after, you're going to feel so much lighter, so much relieved, amazing, like you never felt before. You're going to feel so calm and relaxed and together and centered. And, this is so important for people who are goal oriented and want to achieve the goals. And also, to come out of the self defeating behaviors. Because very often you feel you're going in a circle, in a conundrum, you're going round and round and round and round, and no matter what you do, you're sticking in that track and you can't come out of that track. And 4 years can go, 10 years can go, it's still, no matter what affirmations you do, you're not coming out of that. And I had, many people complain of that, and they came for the chakra and blocking, and of course, their life changed, dramatically. Not instantly, but step by step. Your entire when your insides change, your entire external also change. So it's something good to remember this distinct difference, that this thing of aggression that's in men, and this thing of sadness, and grief in women, that they very easily can cry over anything, and sob, is something that is part of the baggage that can be removed. Not that you will no longer be emotional, but you won't be controlled, um, or lose control to these emotions, especially with the crime rates and men who are prone to aggression. I believe this therapy can dramatically help people. Of course, there's medical sides to it, and physiological components, and aberrations in the actual physical brain and so forth. But at least remove the psychological component and the spiritual component. Cleanse that. It's going to go a long way towards assisting someone in being more together. So I've got a classic example of a client of mine. Of course, I've got so many clients, who's been suffering, for like over 7 years, with very deep paranoia, schizophrenia, and depression, anxiety, and panic attacks, a whole host of psychological illnesses, on medication, boarded, cannot work, right, on government benefits and so forth. And after I completed the chakra unblocking, they got 90% of their life back together, but still on medications, and always said, stick to your medication, only let the doctor take you off. And of course, he still needs it. And he felt, like after about a year, regressing back into like depression and so forth. And he needed, the handle of the medication. And I did send for him in emergencies, because when you're on benefits and you have to wait like 2 weeks to get a doctor's appointment, you can't just go like privately for an emergency, appointment. And in that time, I did the chakra and blocking to help him, cope until he went. But I said, make sure you go. And he felt okay. He didn't. When I did the chakra and blocking, he was fine, but I still said, still go, because this is going to affect you, because there is something physiologically wrong, and the doctors are recommending these things. And he's been on medication, throughout the period after I completed the chakra and blocking. And I encouraged him to continue it and not to leave it unless the doctor told him, you know, to leave it and so forth. And he needs to be on these medications for life, right? So don't think these things are a solution, end all for everything. There is also, the foundation of medical treatment, which is very important and not to be neglected as well, right? So hope that information helps you. Take care of yourself always.